Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to expose the illusion of digital privacy and uncover what is actually happening right inside our pockets. We live in this world where we think we have absolute control over our devices, right? We assume that when we want to go off the grid, we just push a button and boom, the digital walls go up. But what if I told you that the whole concept of disconnecting is, well, kind of just a myth? Today, we're focusing on the airplane mode lie, and we're diving deep into the hidden reality of your smartphone's constant, totally invisible conversations. So, does turning off Bluetooth actually stop tracking? Just think about your daily routine for a second. You swipe down on your screen, you tap that little Bluetooth icon in the control center to turn it off, and you feel, totally secure. But let's seriously ask ourselves if that software toggle actually does anything at all. You might assume you've just shut the digital door, stopping your phone from broadcasting its location to the world. But as you're going to see, research shows your phone might actually still be wide awake, just shouting out into the void. Just listen to this quote. As far as we know, the only thing that definitely stops Bluetooth beacons is turning off your phone. That is a chilling conclusion from a team of researchers at UC San Diego, and it completely shatters this illusion of the so-called off switch. They actually looked into the physical layer of our mobile devices and found that just disabling Bluetooth from your home screen doesn't necessarily stop your phone from emitting signals. Basically, unless your device is fully powered down with a pitch black screen, it's probably still talking. Part 1. The airplane mode illusion. Okay, to understand this illusion, we first need to look at the tech powering the whole thing, BLE beacons, or Bluetooth Low Energy beacons. These are essentially tiny data packets constantly broadcast by devices to announce their presence to nearby receivers. The crucial point here is that these beacons operate exactly like one-way megaphones. They aren't receiving data back. They literally just indiscriminately shout out their existence, like a short little identifier, to any listening app or network nearby. It's really a fundamental building block of modern connectivity, the thing that lets your phone talk to your smartwatch or find your lost keys. But the sheer volume of this shouting is absolutely staggering. 500. That's roughly how many times a minute your mobile devices, from your smartphone to your fitness tracker to your wireless earbuds, are firing off these locator beacons. 500 times every single minute. It's kind of like having a hyperactive toddler in your pocket, constantly yelling, "I'm here, I'm here." That is a constant, unrelenting drumbeat of data being broadcast into the air all around you, largely to support these massive, crowdsourced features like Apple's Find My network.
Part 2. How Bluetooth beacons work.
Part 3. Your hardware's fingerprint.
So bypassing digital anonymity. You might think that just because companies like Apple and Google use rotating digital IDs, to hide your identity, that you're anonymous in a crowd. But those UC San Diego researchers discovered something wild. During the manufacturing process, tiny, accidental byproducts, unique, microscopic hardware defects, are actually baked into the Bluetooth hardware of every single device. And these microscopic defects create distinct signal distortions in the radio frequency when a beacon is transmitted. It acts exactly like a permanent vocal fingerprint for your specific phone. Because it's a physical distortion, it ignores your software privacy settings entirely, allowing tracking even with rotating digital IDs. So your phone can rotate its digital ID all it wants, but the voice it uses to shout that ID remains unmistakably yours. 47%. To prove this wasn't just some lab theory, the researchers conducted a massive real-world test. They set up an off-the-shelf receiver in a public hallway and just monitored over 600 mobile devices passing by. And they found that a staggering 47%, nearly half of all mobile devices, could be uniquely tracked just by analyzing these physical hardware imperfections. There was absolutely no hacking required. They were literally just listening to the distorted radio waves your phone naturally emits.
Part 4. The corporate surveillance economy.
This incredibly lucrative goldmine for massive data brokers really illustrates the severity of the issue. The Federal Trade Commission recently had to step in and aggressively crack down on the sale of precise consumer location data. The government quite literally had to drop the hammer on companies like InMarket and MobileWalla to stop them from harvesting and selling billions of these precise location data points completely unchecked.
And why did the FTC have to intervene? Because sensitive locations were being targeted. These data brokers were caught tracking users to places you really wouldn't want broadcasted. The raw location data they collected wasn't anonymous at all. They were matching these location pings to persistent identifiers, which allowed them to monitor visits to medical facilities, places of worship, labor union offices, LGBTQ+ service centers, political demonstrations, and even military installations. I mean, in one instance, a company created audience segments targeting women visiting pregnancy centers, and in another, they analyzed people attending political protests. Your phone's constant broadcasting makes this level of surveillance astonishingly easy for companies who are willing to exploit it.
Part 5. Physical threats and stalking. Beyond the corporate stuff, there is a massive gap here between intended privacy and physical reality. So, intended privacy. Things like MAC address randomization, continuously changing digital IDs. Apple's Find My network relies on rotating this ID to prevent long-term tracking. That's the intention, right? But the physical reality? Dangerously slow rotation periods. A recent academic paper analyzing the network found that for an AirTag in lost mode, it takes approximately 24 hours for that identifier to change. 24 hours. That massive window gives a potential thief a full day to lock on to a lost accessory before its digital identity finally scrambles. And let's see how this builds into a terrifying real-world scenario with the Snatcher attack framework. Security researchers actually developed this 3-level physical attack to prove that bad actors do not need expensive gear for this. They can use a standard Android phone to physically navigate straight to your lost items. The steps are acoustic direction finding, RSSI IMU sensor navigation, and spatial temporal clustering. Let's walk through exactly how a thief can use this to steal your stuff. Level 1, the acoustic side channel. At this first level, thieves target vulnerable accessories, like AirTags. And ironically, they exploit an anti-stalking feature to do it. See, Apple allows unauthenticated, non-owner devices to force a lost AirTag to beep so victims can find unwanted trackers. While a thief can just walk into a coffee shop, scan for the clear text Find My beacon, trigger that exact same beeping mechanism, and then use their phone's microphone to pinpoint the exact direction of the sound. They are transforming a digital signal into an audible beacon that leads right to your lost bag. Level 2, RSSI IMU navigation. What if the lost device is an iPhone? It's silent, it's not going to beep for a stranger. For silent devices, attackers use a purely passive method. They fuse the Bluetooth signal strength from your phone, the RSSI, with their own walking motion, tracked by their phone's inertial sensors. Basically, it's a high-tech game of hot and cold. As they walk, the attacker's app analyzes if the signal is getting stronger or weaker, allowing them to blindly navigate a physical path right to where your phone is sitting in your pocket. Level 3, de-anonymization. Finally, at the third level, the attackers defeat the ultimate defense, that rotating digital ID. Even if your device's ID changes mid-theft while the thief is tracking it, they use complex spatiotemporal clustering algorithms. Since they're tracking the physical signal strength over a spatial trajectory, they can just stitch the trail right back together when a new ID pops up in the exact same physical spot. The digital mask changes, sure, but the physical location gives it away, allowing the attacker to maintain a persistent lock on your device. So, in a hyper-connected world, do you actually have control over the phone sitting right next to you? As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with that provocative thought. We've seen today that toggling a software switch basically just provides a false sense of security. Between hardware fingerprints, data brokers, and these physical navigation attacks, the digital footprints we leave behind are incredibly persistent. Honestly, until you completely power it down, your device is always speaking. The only question you really have to ask yourself is, who is listening?